I guess I'm live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to, well, I don't really know what I'm calling this yet. It has been a dream of mine to create a podcast or to get myself on YouTube, and I figured I would start because I'm ready. I have been incubating for the last few years, learning a lot about myself, learning a lot about holistic health, learning a shit ton about the nervous system, about self development, about relational development, professional development. But my specialty really is in physical body, spiritual, mental, and emotional well being. I work deeply with the subconscious and have woven in trauma informed nervous system rehabilitation to meet people where they are so that they can go deeper within themselves and achieve true fulfillment and lasting peace. I hope that I can remember that little thing for all of my videos because that was stream of consciousness, but I think it really hit the nail on the head. So today, what I'm going to do is read a Substack article that I wrote back in July. I have no idea what's in this article. I just figured I would start reading back through all of my articles to get practice on the camera. But also, I read an old article the other day and was like, wow, I really needed to hear that today. And then once I'm done reading the article, maybe 2 minutes, I'll take you through a nervous system exercise. So this will be short and sweet, unless I take a little aside because of the article. But I think it should be super interesting to see where I was back in July versus where I am today. And I'm sure there's still going to be something in here for both you and me to get. Okay, so this one is called When There's Too Much Possibility, Navigating Decision Fatigue, Nervous System Activation, and the Sacred Overwhelm of Being a Dreamer. Just FYI, I do use the support of AI to create these articles. One, because I move really fast. My mind moves really fast. I'm constantly transmuting and changing, and I'm different each day. So when I have the inspiration to create one of these articles based in my current emotional and energetic experience, I want to get it out there. I want it to be readable. I want it to be poignant. I want it to be helpful. So that is what I use AI to do. And I have trained my AI to sound like me. I've talked to it extensively. So it is my words just edited in a way much faster than it would take me to actually edit these articles. So I go into like some sort of channeling when I write these, and then AI gives me the feedback and structures it. Anyway, it works for me. If you don't like that, you do not have to watch this video. Okay, so let's begin. I've created the kind of life I once only dreamed of: time freedom, financial freedom, the space to follow my passion and purpose. But what no one tells you about freedom is that too much of it, without structure, can feel like floating through infinite space with the stars just out of reach. I've been sitting with the realization that possibility itself can be overwhelming to the nervous system, especially when you're someone like me, with Pisces dreamscapes, Aries fire and impulsivity, and Scorpio depth and transformation. The energy comes fast and hot. Ideas pour in like ocean waves. Each one feels like the truth, the answer, until it doesn't. The loop of too many dreams. Every project begins with a full-bodied yes, excitement, expansion, certainty that this is it. But somewhere in the middle, the fizzle comes, the doubt creeps in. I would add here that the nervous system gets overwhelmed with so much excitement and momentum and energy output. When I wrote this, I was not attuned to the subtle outputs the nervous system sends when it's becoming overstimulated or when something is too much too fast. So when I would go after my goals, I would go all in, and then I would fizzle out as well. Also, writing this in the midst of my Saturn return, where I'm not supposed to have direction, but I'm really grasping for direction and clarity and purpose in a linear line. It was a mix of nervous system dysregulation and also divine timing. it really wasn't my time to know. And I'll continue. But somewhere in the middle, the fizzle comes. The doubt creeps in. A whisper, maybe this isn't the right path after all. And then comes the grief, the self-questioning, and the pivot. That's a survival response for me, by the way. Until a new dream arrives and the cycle starts again. Does this sound familiar? You can also replace this with just the self-sabotage cycle. I didn't realize that's what I was in, but it also has spiritual significance and spiritual purpose. Dreaming as a nervous system survival strategy. Through the lens of nervous system intelligence, I began to understand that this pattern isn't just a mindset issue, it's physiological. When my nervous system encounters too many options, it doesn't celebrate, it activates. My fight response kicks in. I feel urgent, impulsive, even obsessive. I have to act. I have to make this dream work. I attach to the outcome, like my worth depends on it, because on a subconscious level, maybe I believe it does. The cycle isn't just chaos, it's my system trying to keep me safe. Maybe from failure, maybe from stillness, maybe from sitting with the discomfort of not knowing who I am without a pursuit to prove it. The myth of this will solve everything. Each dream starts to carry the weight of being the solution. This project will finally stabilize me. This idea will be the one that makes me feel legitimate. This path will define my worth. But I'm starting to unhook from that. I'm starting to deconstruct the programming that tells me my next idea will be the one that finally earns me peace. And here's what I've realized. Sometimes the dream isn't meant to be a destination, it's meant to be a doorway, a temporary portal to learn, play, dabble, or move some old survival energy. Action steps for grounding when you have too many ideas. If you resonate with this loop, here's how I've been working with it, both cognitively and somatically. Recognize the pattern early. Start noticing when a new dream hits too hard and too fast. Does your energy shift into obsessive planning, urgency, pressure to act immediately, a fear that if I don't do this now, I'll miss my chance? That's your nervous system talking, not your soul. Deconstruct the internal story. Ask, what do I think this dream will fix? Am I attracting my identity or worth to the outcome? Is this a pursuit or a protection pattern? Gently name what the project has come to symbolize. Then let that part of you exhale. Rewire the fixer part. When the fixer shows up wanting to fix, become, perform, ask her, what are you really trying to protect me from? What would happen if I didn't finish this? What if it's safe to dream and not complete? Often the fixer is trying to keep you from rejection or from the discomfort of not knowing how to name who you are. Ground with nervous system drills, which I'm going to teach you one today. Vestibular work has become essential for me. It helps regulate that floaty ocean energy and brings me back to the present. So try these. Toe bounces and head whip. Gently bounce on the balls of your feet, heels off the ground. While bouncing, whip your head to the right and hold for a few seconds. Pause, then whip to the left. Repeat slowly and notice what shifts. If you're new to nervous system work, please don't do that. I might have to go back and edit this article because that is very advanced and I didn't catch that. VOR. Pick a soft visual gaze target, eye level. Keep your gaze fixed. Move your head up and down like nodding yes, keeping your eyes still. I would say do 1 to 3 reps and then rest. And then repeat side to side, nodding no. I think that's the one we'll do together. The last one is the tennis head whip. Mimic watching a fast-paced tennis match. Quick head turns left and right, staying level, no tilting. Match the rhythm to a steady internal click, fast but focused. These drills activate balance, the vestibular and visual systems, helping your body feel safe to stay in one place. A personal note. This loop used to feel like a part of my identity. Now I see it as a pattern, and patterns can be changed. Dream chasing isn't bad, being multi-passionate isn't wrong, but when it leaves you depleted, fragmented, or doubting yourself, you deserve better. You deserve peace between the waves. And then this last part definitely sounds like AI, so I will not read it because, it's the same as all the other articles you read that have been edited by AI. I have modified the way that I work with AI since I started because I was really excited about it at first. I recently created a worksheet to explain the self-sabotage cycle, and I would actually like to share that with you all if I can remember where I put it. I think it's in my downloads. Or not. Oh, it's right here. It was just blocked by my face. So the self-sabotage cycle is basically what I was describing. But instead of a specific habit that I was changing, my self-sabotage came in like a larger success, lots of compiled or stacked habits to create a career or an offering for others. So this is the unregulated change loop. So this is what happens when there is not nervous system awareness and there's perfectionism lying underneath the hood, as well as fear of failure. So first, the spark. This is the dopamine high. It feels like a rush of inspiration. You may think, oh, this time I'm doing it. This is going to be the right time. I've got the right system. You create the perfect plan and the ultimate blueprint. The brain releases dopamine as if you've already succeeded. And what's happening under the hood is your survival brain, the one that has done this loop before, starts to plan for safety. So it kind of overshoots, it overcommits, it sends you into a sympathetic drive that gets confused with motivation and energy. And that leads you into the next phase, which is the high energy phase. And this is the launch phase. This is when you start to take really big action because the possibility of who you could become and this answer to this problem in your life gives you a lot of energy. So you feel proud and energized and validated and unstoppable. And then you repeat, this is it. I finally cracked it inside. But your body is saying a different story. Or really, it's fight or flight. Oh, it says we're reconnecting. So I don't know what that means. But you're basically outrunning your baseline. You're moving too much too fast, which leads you into number 3, nervous system overstretch. You've moved too far, too fast from your familiar baseline. The good feelings peak and the body interprets this intensity as danger. And then the subconscious fears begin to rise. What if I fail again? What if I can't maintain this? Who will I be if this actually works? What if this is too much responsibility? What if I drop the ball? What will change in my relationships? Who will I even be if this thing comes to fruition? This is subtle, and most people confuse it with losing momentum, but really it's your body going into threat activation. And then you move into rebellion. So these are the first subtle signals of your body and your subconscious rebelling to this new possibility. You don't know anything is wrong, but the body is already slamming the brakes. Some signs may be sudden dips in motivation, feeling tired, random aches and pains, cravings, procrastinations, life getting busy, harsh self-criticism, missing steps, or abandoning perfection. The nervous system is trying to return to what it knows. And then you go into full nervous system freak out. This is where the outputs get really strong because usually we start to shame ourselves during the rebellion phase and we try to double down on our willpower and push through and actually use shame as motivation. So then the repeated slips trigger your survival mode. You may feel irritable or depressed or anxious. You may get shame attacks. You may feel hypercritical of yourself or others. You may feel avoidant. You may dip into numbing behaviors, and you may feel like everything is falling apart. This is not failure. This is your physiology. And then number 6 is collapse, where you go into your old habits and your safety. So for me, safety is starting something new. And the dreaming part is the safe part for me. So your shame and your grief really peak here. You retreat to the familiar behavior, often more intensely than before. It brings predictability, identity, and relief from internal chaos. And you stay here until something reminds you that this isn't working, this isn't what I want anymore, and then the cycle restarts. So you can really see how that is what I was in, but I wasn't fully aware of it. And then before we do the nervous system drill together, I want to share with you the spiral, the growth spiral for sustainable change. So the first phase, this is my own thing. Nobody taught me this really. It's just what I've compiled from the different resources that I've learned from the different programs that I've taken. The first stage would be contemplation, planning, and regulation. This is like the preparation. Sorry, it's not on Do Not Disturb. This is the preparation part. So you start to work with the nervous system with regulation because we are expanding your baseline and create safety with the visual and the possibility of change before the actual change happens. So we use visualization, we do realistic timelines and planning, acceptance of how long it's actually going to take, and bust those perfectionism expectations or high expectations of the self. And then again, we use a lot of nervous system regulation to prepare our body for more capacity to change. And then we start taking micro actions and continue with capacity building. This is where we take small actions that don't even feel like change at first, so that we can rebuild your sense of self-trust and continue to create safety with repetition, nervous system regulation, and actions so small they barely register as change, which I just said twice, but that happens. It's not twice on my sheet. I just said it before I should have. Okay, slow down when sabotage appears, because sabotage is most likely going to happen when you initiate change. As you build the self-trust and continue to create capacity within your nervous system through repetition and predictability, you'll start to be able to make larger changes. You'll naturally build internal momentum, and at some point, your body is going to be like, whoa, this old version of us is dying off, and that's really hard, and we're feeling really safe. So let's move all of this old emotional stuff out of the body because it doesn't serve our new sense of self. So we slow down here. We take smaller actions again. We focus on rest, emotional regulation and emotional processing, and more nervous system training and regulation. And then we go into an integration phase where your new behaviors start to feel natural and embodied and familiar. You've essentially, parts of you have become different. And we celebrate and we reflect and we avoid making huge commitments because we are still in the integration phase. And we just enjoy the high energy instead of feeling the need to discharge it or put it into something else. And then we essentially just repeat stages 1 through 4 until your ultimate goal has been achieved. So as you can see, it's much slower and it's much more body-based than it is mental willpower pushing based, because the idea downloads in the mind, right? Your spiritual body has lots of capacity for everything. It's infinite, at least in my opinion. And then it comes down through your mental body, and then it comes down through your emotional body, and the physical body you have to bring online. You support bringing it online with manual care, like shifting it manually into gear for a lot of us because we've been patterned into survival a lot. Okay, soapbox off. Let's do the nervous system practice. So I'm going to do one of the vestibular practices because that's what I talked about in the article. We'll do VOR. So let's test your range of motion, because your range of motion is going to tell us if your body likes it or if it doesn't like it. To test your range of motion today, you'll place one hand over the center of your chest. You're going to turn and look one direction and then dip your ear towards your belly button. You're essentially just testing the flexibility in your neck or your range of motion in your first rib. So you're not trying to change anything here yet. Just notice if it feels stiff or sticky, if you can turn your head more one direction than the other, if you can barely dip your ear down. And then you'll take your thumb out directly in front of you. And let's start with the no. So lock your eyes, I guess, on your nail bed. And just very slowly, keeping your chin horizontal, move side to side like you're saying no. And keep your eyes locked on that target. After 3 times, we're going to stop. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Another breath in. Another breath out. And test that range of motion. Yeah, well, a little bit of change. I'm yawning, so usually that is a positive indicator from the nervous system. Put your thumb out in front of you again. You can also hold a pen as your object instead of your thumb if that feels better. And keep your eyes locked on that same point and move your head up and down like you're saying yes. So your eyes stay still. Your head moves. Again, we're doing 3 reps total. Take a breath in. My body likes that direction a lot more. And then, whoop, yeah, that's way better. Test your range of motion. See how you responded. Now, some people's visual systems are really sensitive. So if you got a negative from that, I want to make sure that we're leaving you in a better place than when we started. So I'm going to give you another one. You're going to you're just going to grab the tops of your ears with 3 fingers and your thumb, and I want you to pull them up and back. And then we're going to take 3 really intense breaths through the mouth. And then intense breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Turn to the right. Turn to the left. Up and to the left. Up and to the right. Down and to the right. And down and to the left. Back to center. Slowly release. Feel the blood rushing to your jaw, to your vestibular system. And then test your range of motion. See how your body responded to that one. Okay, I wasn't expecting this to be 23 minutes. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.